Tonight, it's one last ride, and it's very fitting that Bobby Hurley takes on Kansas. Now, the only thing standing in Bobby Hurley's way for picking up an upset victory is that everybody's kind of expecting him to win this one.
Happy Tuesday and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils Show. I'm Anthony Totri, joined as always by Jose Perez, also known as the one, the only Erik Ruby. We got the Wooly Woolbrecht behind the Mac making all of the magic happen. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. JJB in the chat, the Bobby Hurley Super Mega Bowl. We got the Green M&M with a Go Devils, and of course, David Buck taking full advantage of being a part of that supporters club, dropping those emojis along with Ben in there as well. Rubus, you kind of threw me off with the one final ride. I didn't know if you were talking about Bobby Hurley in Arizona State tonight, or if you're talking about the next Fast and Furious movie, because it feels like we've got the same amount of seasons for ASU men's basketball with Bob as we do movies with Vin Diesel.
Didn't you make like a comparison between the two at one point where you like
potentially?
I feel like that was you. We've covered Bobby Hurley for a long time, man. We've covered Bobby Hurley.
If it was anybody, it was me for sure.
Yeah, we've covered Bobby Hurley not just on this show, man, but in school, when you're at
in college.
like seriously, dude. I know that tonight's not his last game, but doesn't it kind of feel like it?
It feels like the end of an era. And that's what I said on yesterday's show. I told people, and I'm normally, you sit up here with me, and I'm normally telling people, hey, I get it. You spend a lot of time working hard for your money. But man, if you got an extra $30 laying around, like it's gonna be A, an interesting game, and B, like I said, and like you said, it's gonna be kind of like the end of an installation of like a giant movie like series here, because it did start in college, right? And not to get too far off track, right? But like ASU men's basketball with Bobby Hurley was one of the very first teams I covered, was that 2017, 2018 team, right? One of the first definitely like major sports that I covered. And that was, what feels like a very, very long time ago, right? We're now, I say this collectively, although it is mainly just me. We're a hop, skip, and a jump away from 30, and we're still talking about Bobby Hurley at Arizona State. Like, my goodness, this guy is stood the test of time, Rubus.
Yeah, can we start calling you Unctree at this point?
I've fully leaned into Unk status. That's fine. I'll take Unk. I'd rather someone call me Unk than be like, you're almost 30. I'd much rather have that.
So with Bobby, man, it's so interesting because sports can be so funny sometimes. And it's like, of all teams to play for what is presumed to be, but not guaranteed to be, your final home game ever, it had to be.
Final home game at ASU for Bobby Hurley.
Yeah.
Final home game ever goes back into Fast and Furious. Like, how will they get out of this one? Will Vin Diesel and company survive the piping at DFA this time around?
Oh man, it had to be Kansas, didn't it, man? It had to be Kansas. Like, you think back to those teams that you covered. You think back to the earlier days of Bobby Hurley and all of these. All of these signature victories that he was able to pull out, but specifically the ones over this specific school.
Yeah.
And now here you are at the bookend of that. And we'll get into the actual game itself here in a second, but you find yourself in a similar position where you're the underdogs, right? People aren't believing in you, but it's completely swung to the other side of the pendulum where it's like, okay, well, now it feels like instead of things are getting started here, can you get a big upset win to get some momentum sparking? It's, hey, can you go out with a bang, right? Can you bookend your time at Arizona State with some big victories over blue blood programs and at least just give the fans something to root for at your last time, probably, not confirmed, probably at DFA?
Yeah, the green M&M in the chat. I just have this weird feeling he's back next year. Like I said yesterday, unless they do something magical in the tournament, the number behind me feels pretty likely to be the percent chance that he's back in Tempe next year as the head coach of the men's basketball program. We'll see. We'll talk a lot more about Bob. I do want to get into the actual game here before we really just dive into the Bobby Hurley conversation in this game. Taking a look at Kansas versus Arizona State at this point in time right now, Erik. This is a game going into it, you wouldn't expect Arizona State to win whatsoever in this one.
No, not at all. But you would also say that about Texas Tech as
Yeah.
well. And you look at this Kansas team, they have some pretty big signature victories. Like I mean, don't get me wrong, like they're a really good team, but this is a program and a squad that quite recently lost at home to a Cincinnati team that also finds himself, in the middle of the Big 12 and was about 500 when they played Kansas on the road and just controlled that game.
Yeah.
Right. And so in the Big 12, nothing is impossible. We've seen that with Arizona State. We've seen that with a bunch of other teams as well. But when this Kansas team gets going, when Darren Peterson plays, it is a very, very hard team to imagine the Sun Devils beating unless they go like 12 of 15 from deep.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look at some of the numbers here on how these two teams stack up. Arizona State actually with the advantage in terms of points per game, scoring about 77.9 points per contest to Kansas. There's 76.1. There is a big discrepancy here, though. Arizona State's defense proves to be much worse than Kansas. 78.2 opponent points per game that ASU gives up to Kansas, just 68.7. The Jayhawks with a slight advantage in terms of just shooting from the floor. Kansas also with an advantage, Erik, when it comes to crashing the glass, averaging 38 rebounds to ASU's 33. And then oddly enough, in their last 5 games, Arizona State actually is 3-2 in conference to the Jayhawks, 2-3. Anything here or just overall about this matchup stick out to you?
I mean, it's got to be the defense, right? If
Yeah.
if Arizona State can find a way to keep this game sped up without allowing as many points as they usually do, because Kansas is a good offensive team, that's your recipe for success for Arizona State. And when you look at Kansas in their recent Big 12 play, 3 of their losses in the last 5 games, okay, Arizona, the number 2 team in the country, most recently. Cincinnati at home, that was a bad loss. That's one of their worst losses that they've had in like the last almost 60 years at this point. That was an 84-68 loss at home to a middle of the pack Big 12 team. And then their third most recent losses on the road to number 5 Iowa State. But again, that was by 20 points. So this is not a team that I would consider one of the absolute best in the Big 12. I would say that they are like just one tier below the absolute best, a tier below, of course, 2 of the teams that they lost to, Iowa State and Arizona. But a tier 2 team in the Big 12 is a tier 1 team in most other conferences.
Yeah, for sure. And the only, like you said, the only reason we're calling Kansas a tier 2 team is because you've got Arizona and Houston in this conference, right? 2 teams that Kansas has struggled with at times this season. But again, if I'm not mistaken, Kansas did beat Houston like a couple games ago. So like you've got this kind of tug of war in this conference that we're all too familiar with, of a great team in this conference will beat up on the bad teams in this conference, but a really good team in this conference can kind of be like, they're not impossible to beat. You
Sure.
saw Arizona State do it against Texas Tech just a few weeks ago, right? Now, that was obviously after JT Toppin had gone down, and
But they
he
were
didn't return
winning.
to
They
that
were
game.
they were winning that game and in control of that game before JT Top. Like Arizona State earned
Do
that
you think though
victory
that if
against them.
JT Toppin played the rest of that game, that Arizona State would have hung on to that?
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, yeah,
Wow.
I think so. I mean,
Something I never would have thought. I never would have thought Erik Ruby would have given men's basketball here at Arizona State the benefit of the doubt.
well, just like watching that game, Texas Tech was like completely out of their element, which is so weird
Yeah,
for them. But Arizona State completely took them out of their rhythm. And yeah, I mean, they almost blew it at the end, but it's like they were winning with JT Top, and maybe they're up a couple more points. Like, who knows, right? I'm gonna say that they would still win that game because they were up and they were outplaying Texas Tech when JT Toppin was on the floor. And so I would give them the benefit of the doubt in saying so. But man, it's just so hard with this team sometimes because on paper, this is a Kansas team that should just absolutely rout Arizona State tonight. I
for
mean,
sure.
Darren Peterson's one of the most fascinating players, I think, in like maybe college basketball history at this point. Like he's almost averaging 20 points per game, but a lot of the conversation around him is majority negative because people are like saying he doesn't play enough, he's been
Just
dealing
true.
with a hamstring, which is true,
Just
but he's
true.
been dealing with a hamstring injury that he came back early from. He's only played in 18 games this year. He's averaging under 30 minutes per game, but when he plays, 19.7 points per game, 3.8 rebounds, 1.5 assists, over a steal per game, shooting 46.5% from the field, 80% from the line, and 40% from deep. I mean, this
Buckets.
is a guy, Darren Peterson. I don't think he goes number one overall now because of obviously the injury concerns and everything that's going on, but was clearly in contention to be the number one overall pick in what might be the most loaded draft class that we've seen in quite some time. So when he's on the court, like who's guarding him is really my question here.
Nobody. Nobody. It don't matter who you
Who's
throw on
on
him
him?
at this on this Arizona State roster. It's not going to be enough. It just isn't. There isn't anybody in the conference that can guard him, right? When he's healthy and when he's playing, like you said, averages nearly 20 points a game when he plays and plays in less than 30 minutes a game, right? When we know Arizona State, in terms of their just like rotation in general, 7, 8 guys. We'll see if Mukeba can go tonight. I think he was listed as questionable. Didn't practice yesterday. That'll be interesting to see. I think you absolutely need him out there. Not that he's going to be manned up against Peterson, but just in terms of the rotation, right? Because this is an Arizona State team that what was kind of the knock on them going into the year, going into some of these games, is are they physical enough? Do they have the stature to compete with some of these bigger teams in this conference? And whether you think Kansas is ultimately a bigger team, they're a better team. That's for sure, right? They're the number 14 team in the country. This is a team that, yes, they may not be the cream of the crop in the Big 12 as it stands right now, March 3rd. They're an NCAA tournament team. They're a team that you have to watch out for if Darren Peterson is indeed playing. And at the end of the day, they're the Jayhawks, right? And on the flip end of that
Yeah.
coin, it's the Arizona State Sun Devils, a team that has been wildly inconsistent for years. Even if you want to look at it specifically this year, wildly inconsistent defensively, right? Which has been uncharacteristic of Bobby Hurley teams. They've been hit or miss when it comes to crashing the glass, and they've been absolutely abysmal when it comes to three-point shooting. 3 things that if you let Kansas get going or snowball any one of those things, right? If you can't play a lick of defense against Kansas, you're going to lose. If you can't compete on the glass with Kansas tonight, you're going to lose. If you can't shoot a bare minimum of 30% from 3, you're going to lose. Like, that's just the way the cookie is going to crumble if you simply can't do the little things right against a team like Kansas.
Sure, and that's what they did so well against Texas Tech is they did the little things right, and Texas Tech looked like a fish out of water playing basketball. They were turning the ball over, offensive foul, like it was bad. Now,
Yeah.
this is a Kansas team that's still good without Darren Peterson too. Like they've won plenty of games without Darren Peterson so far this year. So even if he's not on the court, they're still a dangerous team. And with the injury to Mukeba, like you mentioned, and what he's been dealing with, Mo Odom has also been dealing with an injury too. And again, like if they're out there, they're going to have to play well. But it's kind of becoming more and more of an uphill battle, right? But again, in true Bobby Hurley fashion, what the more and more of an uphill battle it is it more likely that he wins? Like that's again, that's kind of what it's starting to feel like, right? Because when we break it down, it's like, okay, yeah, even if Darren Peterson wasn't playing tonight, Arizona State should on paper stand no chance against Kansas. Guess what? Same thing with Cincinnati, especially on the road. I think
Yeah.
the home factor here is a big one. Like Chris in the chat mentions, like guard you t-shirts for the student section tonight, right? I would imagine that it's actually going to be a pretty big crowd at DFA tonight. And
I
so
hope so.
I hope so too, man. I really do. And so that is also such an interesting factor because when they were playing Texas Tech, like it was pretty loud when things were getting going and when
Yeah.
Texas Tech was on the ropes. And so I wonder if maybe Bill Self gets nightmares when he sees the piping at Desert Financial Arena, and he's just like
Yeah.
and gets spooked or
That's what
something.
I do when I see the piping there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Look, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. PHNX Sun Devils Show. Talking Bobby Hurley and Arizona State men's basketball. Can they do the unthinkable? Can they beat Kansas again? We're going to talk more on the other side of our first break. I don't know how we got here, but it is officially March 3rd. So if your New Year's resolution was to start that home renovation, maybe update the kitchen or your bedroom, well, stop procrastinating and go see our friends over at the Window Depot. And they got something new for you. They are introducing flooring, currently available at all of their Tucson stores and coming to Phoenix soon. We know they are way more than just a window store. They're offering windows, doors, skylights, cabinets, countertops, sinks, and of course more in stock and ready for pickup with 7 locations across the valley in Window Depot, proudly manufactured in Tucson. Make sure you go check out any of their locations. And if you need a custom order, if they don't have what you need in stock, their custom order program lets you customize based on your project needs. So you're going to get exactly what you want and what you pay for that new home renovation project. Make sure you visit thewindowdepot.com and get started on your next project today.
Let's face it, after a serious injury, you want to hire an attorney that's focused on your best outcome, not how much money the firm makes. And that's why if you ever find yourself in a serious accident or serious injury, your first call has to be to the husband and wife law team. Because Mark and Alexis Breyer lead a law team that not only brings hundreds of years of combined trial experience with multiple certified specialists in personal injury and wrongful death, but they're also happy to make you guarantees that you'll receive at least as much in your pocket as they receive for their fee, even if they reduce their attorney's fee to do so. You can guarantee to cancel your fee agreement at any time for any reason. You may speak with one of their lawyers as often as you choose about anything you'd like to discuss. They also guarantee to always be upfront and honest with you about the strengths and the weaknesses of your case. So if you've had a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website, the link in our show notes, and tell them that PHNX sent you.
Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button again, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Green M&M says the crowd was rocking against Utah. Erik, you mentioned it was rocking, obviously, against Texas Tech several weeks back. And Chris bringing up Bobby's Guard U teams. They were fun to watch. Well, I think, again, there is that conversation of, oh, it's Kansas, right? So Arizona State, Bobby Hurley teams, they've got a good track record against the Jayhawks. I do want to kind of kick it back a little bit to those wins, to those big upsets that Arizona State has had over Kansas over the years. You look back to the big one at DFA, number 18 Arizona State with number 1 Kansas coming to town. They were 10-0 at the time, and they lost to who other than Zylan Cheatham, Lou Dort, Rob Edwards, and Bobby Hurley's Arizona State Sun Devils, 80-76. Sun Devils with a 49-point second half, outscoring Kansas by 12 in that second half. Rob Edwards scored 15 points, 2 late free throws with about 6 seconds left. And then you had the moment. You had DFA, I mean, just absolutely on fire in the best way possible. Remember the crowd storming the court it
Mhm.
erupting. And at that point in time, it was nothing but pure bliss, Erik.
I was having major FOMO, watching this game from my parents' living room because I mean, I was in college at the time, but I had gone home. I believe it was around winter break or something. That's why I was home. And I was like, man, I should have gone. I should have found a way to get in that game. I should have found a way to cover that game, you know? Like I was getting major FOMO, man. That team was so much fun. Obviously, like Zylan Cheatham gets a large amount of the love, hometown kid, and has gone on to have some pro success. But man, Rob Edwards was a bucket, huh?
He was a bucket. He was the
Rob
leading
Edwards
scorer
was a
in that game,
bucket.
15 points, 5 of 8 from the floor.
He was a bucket. I don't really know what else to say except for like that to me, as far as like moments for Bobby Hurley is certainly up there. I'm a little bit more partial to the first Kansas win though.
The first Kansas win. Before we get to that first Kansas win, I just want to take a couple of I guess numbers from how Arizona State won that game, right? So Arizona State didn't shoot better from the floor than Kansas. It was 42% to 41%. This stuck out to me though. ASU went 8 of 21 from three-point land, 38% to Kansas's 25%. Sun Devils also had 5 fewer turnovers and actually won the rebound battle 41 to 40, again, against the number 1 team in the nation. Keep track of all that. You out-rebounded them, you shot better from 3, and you had fewer turnovers, right? Ultimately, you knock off number 1 team in the country. Let's go back to that first win against number 2 Kansas at Kansas, right? You win 95-85. Trey Holder goes for 29 points, right? Was just an absolute machine, shot 50% from the floor. ASU as a team shot 51% from the floor in that game to Kansas's 48. Here's the big one, though. They shot 50% from behind the arc. They were 14 of 28. They were red hot, could not miss from behind the arc. Kansas just 37%. Sun Devils with 6 fewer turnovers in that game than Kansas. They lost the rebound battle by 3, but it feels pretty clear to me when you go back and you look at these Arizona State teams that have done well against Kansas as an underdog, whether it be at Kansas or at DFA, they have shot better than Kansas from 3 at some points, being unable to miss from three-point land.
Yeah, and they don't have the three-point shooters that they had on that Guardian team, right? Shannon Evans, Cody Justice, Trey Holder. I mean, those are the 3 that you think of. Those are 3 of probably the best shooters in Arizona State history on the court at one time with each other. And so I don't know if you can go ahead and just bank on that three-point variance. I mean, obviously, Mo Odom's going to get him up. Mo Odom's going to hopefully hit some threes as long as he's feeling fully healthy. Noah Musin has shown that he can hit some threes. Gerbovich can hit some threes. Like, they've got some guys that can shoot. They certainly don't have the amount of shooters that they had on guard you.
5 players made a 3 in that game. You want to test your luck and see if you can
No,
guess which 5?
no, I can
No?
get
Come
3.
on, you
I don't know
got
if I can get,
this. Come
no,
on, you can do it.
no, no.
Believe in yourself.
No.
They're
Just
pretty
tell me the other
easy,
2.
man.
No, we know the 3. Tell me the other 2.
Cody Justice went 2 of 9. Trey Holder went
No.
4 of 7. Shannon Evans went 5 of 9. Vitaly Scheibel went 1 of 1.
Yes, Vitaly Scheibel.
And
Yes,
Remy Martin was 2 of 2. He
yeah.
had 21 points off the bench.
Cody Justice 2 and 9 in that game is kind of crazy.
He was 2
When
of
you think
10
about
from the
how
floor, only had 7 points in 35 minutes.
Yeah, Remy, man, that was a great Remy game. I remember, and this is
He had
gonna make
5
people feel
steals. Wow.
this is gonna make people feel really old. So I was a freshman in college when that first Kansas game happened, and my roommate, who now works for the Diamondbacks, had a poster on our wall of the ASU schedule, and he was going through and he was marking W after every single like game, right? So like the win-loss tracker. And I remember celebrating with him and going and putting the W down when they won that game. Like it was like, oh wow, we're legit, man. Like we're a legit team. And when you take notes from that game and from the second Kansas win, you can look at the threes, the rebounding, all that. To me, it's kind of the turnovers, right? When worse teams beat better teams in basketball, whether it's high school, college, NBA, overseas, when a worse team wins, a lot of the times you can look at the turnovers and say, okay, what did the worst team do? They made the better team uncomfortable defensively, and the better team, either because they were playing sloppily or because the other team's defense was so good, turned the ball over so many times that they just couldn't get a rhythm, led to easy, fast break points, and then kind of the momentum carried you from there. Now, when really good teams beat the crap out of really bad teams, which I'm hoping the Suns do tonight, and if you watch that game, hopefully it's because these bad teams are forced into turnovers because they're bad teams, right? Turnovers can be such a deciding factor when it comes to upsetting, and it's not a surprise that in those two games against Kansas that the turnovers are one of the few statistics that you can point at consistently. You
Yeah.
can't consistently say ASU is going to go and shoot 50% from deep. It's way less controllable than getting in the passing lanes, forcing turnovers, and making Kansas uncomfortable defensively. That's what's translatable here. That's how Arizona State wins this game. Are they going to need some 3-point variance? For sure. Are they going to need to make sure they're not giving up second chance opportunities, offensive rebounds, and to box out? For sure. Do they need to play good defense and to force misses from Darren Peterson? Yeah, for sure. They can't turn the ball over. They can't be stupid. At the end of that Texas Tech game, what got Texas Tech close? ASU started playing stupid.
Yeah.
ASU started turning the ball over. ASU started feeling like they didn't know what was going on. You can't have moments like that against good teams.
Yeah, I mean, that was the difference maker in that Texas Tech game, was the turnovers, right? 17-9 turnovers. Arizona State with the 9 on that end. And ultimately, that was how they were able to keep this game close, because ultimately these two teams, they shot the same from the floor. Texas Tech shot better from 3. They shot better from the charity stripe. They out-rebounded ASU. Like, they did everything in theory that they needed to do, but those extra possessions fueled Arizona State. Like you said, you kind of need those extra possessions when you are the worst of two teams. And again, like, let's call a spade here. Arizona State isn't the better team in this matchup any way that you want to slice it. I know it's shocking. I know it's surprising, Erik, but that's just what it is. Arizona State is the worst team in this matchup, but that doesn't mean that it is impossible that the Sun Devils can bring down number 14 Kansas. And will it be Bob's last time at DFA as the head coach of the Arizona State Sun Devils? We're going to answer that question on the other side of our second break.
Look, everybody needs a checking account. You've been hearing us say it here on PHNX Sun Devils for months now at this point. So you know that if you need a checking account, you got to get the My Style checking account with perks just for you over Mountain America Credit Union. I'm talking restaurant deals, telehealth access, loan rate discounts, mobile phone protection, identity protection, offers on travel and events, and so much more. You can make My Style your lifestyle at Mountain America Credit Union. Plus, of course, they support Arizona State University, which matters a lot to us and to you as well. They donate $250 to support university athletics for every field goal made during football season. They provide $20,000 in scholarships to local student athletes every year, and they sponsor a shoe donation program to award brand new shoes to community members in need. Learn more at macu.com/ASU, insured by NCUA. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Loans on approved credit.
If you guys are anything like me, then you are trying to save money with every single purchase, but it can sometimes be hard to save money in today's economy. But thanks to our friends over at Circle K, they are trying to help you guys save money every single time you pull up to a Circle K location, and they're doing so with their free membership program, Inner Circle. We've been telling you for quite some time how to enroll. If you guys aren't a part of the Inner Circle yet, well, go to the App Store right now. Download the app, enter your email and phone number, and that's it. That is all it takes to start saving at your local Circle K location. Once you're enrolled, next time you pull up to the pump, you're going to type in that same phone number that you used to enroll, and you guys are going to save 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. But the deals, they don't end there. Even after your first 5 fill-ups, you guys can save money on gas every single day. They've got Inner Circle Fuel Days, where sometimes you guys can save 40 cents off per gallon on gas. And then, of course, the deals, it feels like they never end when it comes to the snacks and the drinks that you can find over at Circle K. So again, make sure you join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Make sure you visit circlek.com for details. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Again, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. AZ Cat Dan in the chat. Totri, rumor has it you're the one behind hashtag Lightgate fiasco happening on Damon and Kevin's show. Does anyone know? Does either one of you know what's happening right now with the PHNX Wildcat show? And AZ Cat Dan, could you elaborate? I cannot confirm or deny the ploy that I am behind, but I'd like to know what's going on in the studio across the
This
hall.
this sounds like the words of a man who's very much behind hashtag Lightgate.
I mean, I'm not going to come out here and claim that I'm behind it if I don't know exactly if, things are going to plan.
We got him, folks. We got him.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen,
we got him.
Yeah, we got Oh, my goodness. Bob Hurley, Robert Hurley. Is he going to be back, Erik? Let's just, I mean, let's get in and out, huh? Is he back or is he not?
This might shock you. But
year 12. Let's go.
No.
Yeah.
No. Unless he makes
the
the Sweet 16, which means no.
Now, so you're saying this is the final time then that we're going to see Bobby Hurley at DFA as the men's basketball coach at Arizona State?
I mean, yeah, unless he gets hired again in like 10 years.
No,
dude,
we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
I can't. Can you imagine? Let's go to La La
Here we go. Here we go.
Quick. Okay.
Eyes closed.
Can you imagine?
Let me get all the voices. Stop. I got to get all the voices out before I start imagining. Okay. Peace and quiet. Go ahead.
Okay. Imagine that it's right after this season and news comes down and ASU announces that they will be extending Bobby Hurley to a 2-year contract. Now, I know how you feel about that. I know how I feel about that. I know how that breaking news podcast would go for PHNX Sun Devils. Can you imagine the fan base? Can you imagine like how much this kind of like overhanging dark cloud on this program?
I see Tempe on fire, Erik.
Well, no, but like seriously though, the amount of fans who just expect it to be over, right? There's something to be said psychologically.
Reasonable expectation, by the way. Reasonable expectation.
There's something to be said psychologically about like expecting something for so long, and then if it doesn't happen and the complete opposite happens, like it might mess some people up, man. Like I don't know what's gonna happen to JJ if they announce that Bobby Hurley's coming back. I feel like you're at this point of no return, not just from a results standpoint, but from a narrative standpoint, right? I mean, from a narrative standpoint, how can you bring Bobby Hurley back for another year? How can you sell that to the fan base? How can you sell season tickets? How can you recruit, right? How can you get people back on board with your program if the guy that they jumped ship for is still steering? Like, it's not possible. I can't see him coming back, dude. I can't see him, man. I just can't see it.
It would be, I mean,
one of the greatest, most unexpected thing that I've seen in sports in my lifetime.
It would be one of the greatest upsets in sports history if Bobby Hurley got another contract at Arizona State after this season. If they don't do anything, right? If they don't make the NCAA tournament, if they don't, go to the Sweet 16, if they don't do a bunch of like totally illogical, unrealistic things at this point in time, right? You couldn't defend it. There would be zero way for us to sit up here and try and make sense of that decision. So for that reason, I am going to agree with you. I'm going to say that this is going to be it. There is no more Vin Diesel, flying to the moon in a Mustang trying to save the world, right? You can't do that anymore. Like it's out. There are no new tricks. There are no new, ways to talk yourself into a return. I don't think. I think something that you said that is especially true here is what would the fan base's reaction be? And I think for such a long period of time over the last half decade, there has been this disconnect with the Arizona State fan base as a whole in Arizona State men's basketball. Even with us, right? I think there was, going into last season, they had us on the hook a bit because it was like, look at the shiny new toys we got. Look at Josan Sannon, look at Jaden Quaintance, look at Amir Ali, look at all of these highly rated recruited players that now Bobby has, right? Something that they didn't ever really have. They didn't ever really have these super legitimate dudes that were potential league guys. Season gets derailed for injuries, coaching, a variety of reasons, the Big 12, like a number of reasons. And I think it was at that point where it's almost like Bobby's been fishing for the last 11 years. And he's gotten so close to catching a real big fish. And every time, just fish gets him, right? Steals the bait, steals the hook. But here we are, year 11, and I feel like the fish has no longer just taken the hook and the bait. It has snapped the entire rod. There isn't a coming back here. There's no way for Bob to catch that fish at this point in time because it's over. It's too late, right? And I think for Arizona State, for this fan base to truly buy back into the program, you need a change. You need something new. Now, getting back to the game tonight, because that's what ultimately this is all about, I think it is important to remember Bobby Hurley in a certain light as the second winningest coach in this program's history, who over the last 3 seasons especially, it's turned sour with the fan base, the expectations, the ultimate product that you've received and watched as an Arizona State men's basketball fan. I think it's important for this program and this team in this era to end on some semblance of a high note. And I think the highest note that you could possibly achieve at this point in time with Bobby Hurley would be, yes, a win tonight, but ultimately not being one and done in the men's basketball tournament next week, right? If you're able to find a way to beat, I don't know, even like it was the 7th best team in this conference, right? If you could beat like a BYU, if you could beat a TCU, if you could beat a West Virginia in the first round of that Big 12 tournament, I think that would go a long way, coupled with this game tonight. But again, you got to win this one tonight. And I feel like a broken record. How many times do we talk about Arizona State men's basketball and you and I get up here and we dance around for 40 minutes and we say, well, when push comes to shove, you got to get this one. You have to do it. I think so. I think when we're talking about Arizona State men's basketball,
did dance on the last show. Well,
okay, I literally did a dance. Yeah, like I feel like when we're talking Arizona State men's basketball, it ultimately comes down to what you want to do, right? I.e., make the postseason. You got to do X, Y, and Z, and they never do X and they never do Y. So this is Bob's time to go get Z. Like, go get that final win. Go get that thing that you can hang your hat on in this era of Bobby Hurley basketball. When it's all said and done, 11 years, you close that big-ass book that's full of wins, losses, head scratchers, transfers, recruits, bad piping at your arena. And the one thing that you can hang your hat on in the synopsis of that book is Bobby Hurley always gave Kansas a run for their money. So much so that he beat them when they were the number 1 team in the country at DFA. They went to their place and beat them when Kansas was number 2 in the country. And how did Bobby Hurley slam that book shut? In his final game at DFA, Darren Peterson played a whopping 16 minutes before he checked himself out and Arizona State beat number 14 Kansas. Give me some of that.
Chris asking the important questions. If ASU wins tonight, Totri, will you do a little dance?
Yes,
he will. What am I, a circus monkey for you people? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
No,
sure, I'll do a little
speaks
dance.
For the first time.
I'll do a little dance. Is this a dance just for the Discord? Do we think that that's maybe? No, it's a show dance.
This is
I'm a
tomorrow's
showgirl
show.
on Wednesday's program if Arizona State wins, is what you're telling me.
The cold open for tomorrow's show
Will be me doing a little dance?
will be you doing a little dance.
I'm down with
Okay.
that.
Yeah, you're down with that, Noah?
Yes.
You're not set to produce us tomorrow, so I feel like
I'll come in and join you.
you'll come in and join me.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm down
can
then.
do a duet.
If the Wooly Wolbrecht is going to join me for a little dance, if ASU men's basketball beats Kansas tonight, then yeah, then I'm down, and we can make that happen.
And for Bobby in general, man, and this isn't surprising to anybody, but we've been hard. We've been hard on Bobby Hurley. We've been hard on where this men's basketball program is. Like it's been an unfortunate couple of years. But if we're being honest here, this is not a program that's seen like crazy, crazy, crazy levels of success. And some of the heights that Bobby Hurley has helped this program get to, even if he hasn't been able to capitalize on them, have been some of the better moments that we've ever seen on an ASU basketball court, especially people around our age, Totri. And so what I hope and what I feel like he kind of deserves is a better ending than what it felt like we were getting before. Like people think that we root against Bobby Hurley. We don't.
People think you specifically root against Bobby.
Just me. Just me.
You. Yeah.
I'm notoriously the one who's been harder on Bobby Hurley on the show than you have, for sure.
Yeah. You much harder on Bob than me.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I was going to make a joke, but I'm going to keep it to myself. Let's talk a little bit more on the other side of our final break. Huh? Let's just go to break.
Get this train off the tracks.
Hey, you listening to this podcast right now behind the wheel of a minivan. Do you want an opportunity to win a brand spanking new Corvette? If the answer is yes, or maybe, or even no, hear me out. Our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, they have got a chance for you, or I should say 4 chances for you to win big. And when we say win big, we're talking, again, a Corvette. You guys can drive into excitement with the fabulous Corvette giveaway running January 16th through April 24th. So still plenty of time to enter. A bunch of participating locations: Wild Horse Pass, Vequiva, Lone Butte, and Santan Mountain. Here is how you guys can qualify on a couple different days, okay? So Fridays, 6 p.m. through 8 p.m. Hourly drawings for free bonus play or a finale entry. Tuesdays and Saturdays, today is Tuesday, earn 4 times the entries when you play with the card, okay? And then Thursdays, 2 p.m. through 5 p.m., you got the hot seat finale qualifier, play with the card for your shot. There's also exclusive swag giveaways throughout the entire promotion. And like I said, you still have plenty of time because those grand finales, they don't start until April 27th and then they end April 30th. So still plenty of time. For more information, make sure you visit playathila.com. Again, if you want a chance to win a Corvette, don't miss your chance to accelerate into luxury. Play, earn, and win at any of our 4 casino locations.
Leave it to ASU alumni to be innovative. That's exactly what Pure Edibles is. That's right. 3 founders, all ASU alumni, and Pure Edibles, not only are they innovative when it comes to the taste of their edibles, which don't taste like weed at all, they just taste like candy, but with how they make you feel and how they brand it as well. That's right. They use CBN, CBG, CBD, and marijuana-derived THC to deliver the exact effects that you want and the exact effects that you're expecting, because instead of labeling them sativa, indica, hybrid, very vague, who knows how it's actually going to make you feel, they label it like sleepy, uplifted, relaxed, balanced. They know that when you take edibles, you want to be able to expect what you are going to feel, and that's what Pure Edibles is here to do. They're also designed to be ripped or bit in half, making them easily shareable or easy to dial in your exact dose. So go support 3 ASU alumni. Go support yourself. Get some Pure Edibles products from one of the over 130 dispensaries across Arizona.
Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Rubus, 7 p.m. tonight.
Yeah.
Kansas, Arizona State, DFA. Who wins?
Give me Bobby Hurley Sun Devils, baby. Come on. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We can't pick anybody else but Bobby Hurley tonight. I've been saying this in our Discord, on the show. This is as guaranteed of a win for Arizona State as I've ever seen in my entire life. Okay? This is more guaranteed than Koa Pete coming here. Okay? No, I I do think that ASU finds a way to win tonight. Maybe that's just me believing in like the magic and whimsy of life. But I think he does it, man. Call me crazy. I think Bob's got one last hoorah in him, man. I think Bob takes down Kansas, and then we don't have to talk about Iowa State next game.
Jake back in the chat saying, boys, I'm back. Who's going to the game and should I go? Yes, I think you should go to the game. Enjoy whatever happens tonight. It's senior night at the very least. Go enjoy that. A lot of seniors on this team that you won't see again at Arizona State. And I'm going to go so far to say is you're not going to see anybody on the roster right now on Arizona State next year. I don't see it happening. Given again where the coaching situation is going to be.
Do it.
Look, man.
Do it. Come on.
I'm just again like this is my dilemma here.
Come
right?
on.
Is I have never been the one to like really, really genuinely believe in Bobby Hurley, right? But I did. I believed in Bob after they went on their 2-game win streak, right? And I said, you did not, said that they were going to beat Baylor. I said I had faith that they could go to Waco and do the only activity that people do in Waco, and that is beat Baylor. It's the only thing that people do there, okay? They didn't do it. And now, after you lose that game, you lose to TCU, you beat Utah, whoop-de-doo. I'm tasked with sitting up here and trying to have blind faith again. That's what you're asking me to do, is you're asking me to have blind faith here. Now, what I will say, I also enjoy whimsy. I also enjoy the magic of sport. And I do believe this is going to be Bob's last game at DFA. I do. I genuinely do. And damn it, I love a good story, Erik. So give me the Sun Devils. Give me Arizona State to somehow, some way, do it.
Good.
Again.
I was bound to get mad at you.
Ranked Kansas at DFA. You know what Bobby Hurley has to say about that? Don't care. Just like that, too. Don't care. Give me Bob, man. What do you got? What do you got, Noah? Do you think they find a way to get it done? You watch a lot of college basketball.
I do, and I've watched more Kansas basketball this year than probably any other team, minus maybe Arizona. But I'm going to say if Darren Peterson has to play, feels like he needs to play hero ball, I swear to God, if he gets over 30 points, ASU is coming out with the W in the win column. He is actually 4-4 when he's the leading scorer in the game this season. So not a huge fan of Darren Peterson, to be fair. He's a great player. I think he's NBA bound. He'll be great, but I think sometimes he tries to be the guy too much when Kansas is very much a team-oriented system. So we'll see.
So Noah's bet of the night. You want ASU money line and Darren Peterson to score 30-plus points.
Yes. If that happens,
the
that's
odds
amazing.
on that would be absolutely ridiculous.
That might buy PHNX HQ4, man.
Yeah.
Like that might be the highest odds of all time.
Oh God. Yeah. I mean, look, crazier things have happened, right? I said it yesterday. You know what's crazier than Arizona State beating number 14 Kansas at DFA?
No.
When Arizona State beat number 1 Kansas at DFA? When they beat number 2 Kansas at Kansas? Just throwing out there. ASU wasn't supposed to do either one of those things.
I mean, again, man, like, and that's the thing is if you were going to pick against ASU, I was going to make some arguments, man. I was going to be like, look,
Go ahead, make your argument.
my argument is this. My argument is that this is the classic Bobby Hurley win. It's classic. Not just because it's Kansas, but because it's like, yeah, man, who expects them to win tonight? Nobody outside of like diehard ASU fans expect them to win tonight. They should stand no chance. They should stand no chance at all, man. Like, and that's exactly why they're going to win. That's why.
So logical. The Jake White Sharks celebrating 4 months of membership. Love this one here, saying, what would Kenny Dillingham do? He'd activate the Valley and support Bobby effing Hurley. You're right, and I wouldn't be shocked if he was there tonight. I wouldn't be shocked if you saw a lot of ASU coaches and reps there. I would expect to see Kenny Dillingham. I would fully expect to see Graham Rossini. I would fully expect to see Michael Crow. Like, you're going to see, I think,
No
a
way
ton
Mike's
of
there.
support. For sure.
No way, Mike.
For sure, Mike's there.
No way.
For sure.
No
Mike is
way,
there.
dude.
Yep.
I'm taking Michael Crow. I'm taking Michael Crow under appearances. Darren Peterson over 28.5 points at ASU money line.
I'm taking it. So you can't get Michael Crow appearance, but what you can get is when he leaves the game.
Oh, okay.
Right. And it is minus money at this point, like minus probably 1,000 that he's gone before the beginning of the second half.
Why even show? Dude, there's no way he's there. There's no way he's there.
He's there.
No way.
He's there. 1,000%.
If Michael Crow's there, I'll do a little dance at the beginning of next show.
Okay. 100%. If you're going to the game, tonight and you see Michael Crow, tag us. Yeah. Please, for the love of God, tag us so that Erik Ruby also has to do a little dance. Or if Michael Crow's there and ASU loses, then it'll just be an Erik Ruby little dance to start the show on Wednesday. So regardless,
either way,
you're getting a little dance.
Well, if Crow's there.
I guess if Crow isn't there and they still lose, then there's no little dance.
There's no reason to dance.
Jake White Shark, he's got it tasked. He's going to tag us in the Discord. Love that. Jake, again, we appreciate you celebrating 4 months here as a part of the Supporters Club. We really, really do. Chris mentioning that you know how to do the worm. JJ asking if we're doing a post-game show. It is not on the docket, JJB. It is not on the docket. Although we are planning on doing some post-game shows next week during the Big 12 men's basketball tournament. So our schedule will likely look a little different going into next week. So something to keep in mind.
The facilities for tonight were not in place with a Suns game and everything, but that's why we're talking about it today, and we'll talk about it tomorrow, and we'll have coverage for you on social as well.
Facts.
And again, I'll do a little dance if Michael Crow is there. Nobody Photoshop Michael Crow at DFA. I need a video. I don't need a picture. If he's there, I need a video.
We'll see. Or a photo that looks really good. Like if it's a photo that's like if it's AI or if it's Photoshop and it's just flawless, then sure, I'll accept it.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Oh gosh. Look, guys, let us know in the comments. Do you think Bobby Hurley and the Sun Devils get it done tonight against Kansas? We appreciate everybody watching live, watching after the fact, and then, of course, all of you listening on audio as well. Hit that like button and the subscribe button on your way out. Drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. That is going to do it for today's episode of the PHNX Sun Devils Show. If you want to keep up with all things Arizona State, we're talking baseball, softball, football, basketball, etc. Well, follow the show at PHNX_Sun Devils on Twitter, Instagram, and on TikTok. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You could follow Rubis, also known as Jose Perez, at Erik Ruby. That is Erik with a K. And you can follow the Wooly Woolbrecht. Actually, it's confidential. It's confidential. I've got word that the FBI has actually hidden Noah's on social, so you're not allowed to follow him unless you find him. Then follow him and do what you want to do.
I don't know if I'm a big fan of the optics of the FBI covering up my socials right now.
Let's just say the DEA You want to go with the DEA? You want to go with a different intelligence agency?
Sure.
Sure. What do they have in MI6? MI6 has actually hidden Noah's at on social.
Sounds good, mate.
Yeah, so good luck. That was Australian.
Are you Australian?
Good luck on that. We'll see you on Wednesday. In the meantime, go Devils in peace.
We all silly like the mayor.